Kamala, there's something different in your genes, like a mutation.
Welcome back to ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy. Now D23 had some nice announcements for the MCU's future, but not even a peep about the X-Men.
Disappointing.
The silence might be frustrating, but this might actually be very good news for the X-Men franchise. Marvel is already laying the groundwork for the mutants with Patrick Stewart's cameo in Multiverse of Madness, and there's also the reveal that Ms. Marvel is a mutant. Also, we're getting Namor in Wakanda Forever, and he's a mutant in the comics. So it's only a matter of time until the X-Men finally arrive. The X-Men are special. They have some of the best and most endearing characters and stories in the comics. The richness of the source material can easily populate an entire MCU saga.
Oh yeah, Charles, we got ourselves an X-Men fan.
This is exactly why we made this video. We want Marvel to finish the Multiverse Saga and then dedicate the next whole saga to the X-Men. And I'm sure that most fans will agree that it needs to be called the Mutant Saga. And yes, that means that the X-Men will join the MCU only after the Multiverse Saga is concluded.
I don't believe what I'm hearing.
See, Phase 7 will start in 2026, so it's really just 4 years from now. I think we can wait 4 years for the mutants to take center stage in an entire phase. Or why wait? Well, the Multiverse Saga is going to be really busy. There's already so much going on. So I'm not sure if it's wise to add the X-Men into an already jam-packed Multiverse Saga. For the Multiverse Saga, and especially Secret Wars, Marvel can bring back some of the older actors like Hugh Jackman to satisfy that cameo craving that we all have right now. Plus, they are going to be doing Deadpool 3, so look, mutant-wise, I think we're good for now. But this isn't the reason that we made this video. We are here to pitch stories for the Mutant Saga. And I'm talking about the plot of every single phase, what stories Marvel should adapt, the characters they need to focus on, the arcs, the twists and turns, and, well, I mean, look at the length of this video. There's a reason why this is long.
Ooh, so exciting.
Alright, so let me put on my Kevin Feige hat and present our story and slate for the Mutants Saga.
I'm one of you, one of the X-Men, and it means more to me than anything in the world.
Yeah, that's what it means to me too.
Alright, so here's how all of this is going to go down. Phase 7 will serve as the introductory phase for the X-Men, but at the same time, it will serve as the aftermath phase to the Multiverse Saga. The mutants' introduction can happen in either two ways. They were always part of the MCU, and we will finally discover their existence over the course of the Multiverse Saga, or most mutants will enter the universe after Secret Wars. If Marvel Studios follows the comics, that means that the multiverse will end in the Kang Dynasty, and then the Avengers will restart reality and create a new universe. And in this universe, mutants are now
Part of that world.
The phase will lead into a crossover event, which will be a team-up between the X-Men, the Avengers, and the Fantastic Four. This crossover will be based on the Phoenix Saga story from the comics.
Phoenix Saga, but Fox did that twice already, and it was really bad. Both times.
I know, so you're thinking, why rehash a story that clearly didn't work in previous adaptations? Well, the Dark Phoenix Saga still stands as one of the greatest comic book stories ever. It's a story that needs to be done right, even if it takes 3 tries.
As humans like to say, third time's the charm, right?
The right way to adapt the Dark Phoenix Saga is to first do the Phoenix Saga. Jean Grey needs to be the hero and save the universe. Then she's corrupted by that same power, turning into one of the most powerful villains in existence. So, Phase 7 will establish the Phoenix Force, then Phase 8 will be about the Dark Phoenix, culminating with an Avengers vs. X-Men movie. And Phase 9 will end with the Age of Apocalypse. Yes, I'm trying to redeem another one of Fox's failures.
This is where the fun begins.
The rebirth of the multiverse in Secret Wars created some serious problems for reality. This new universe was created slightly broken because of the Phoenix Force. It's a multiversal entity, a force of creation and destruction, a power that trumps everything else. In our version, the Phoenix wasn't meant to be part of any universe. It existed outside the multiverse. But after the rebirth in Secret Wars, an essence of that force now lives within the universe. And the Phoenix is so grand that it literally destabilizes reality. And this is where the Macron crystal from the comics comes into play. Now this crystal is a nexus of all realities. In the comics, the Macron crystal needed to be fixed to prevent the universe's destruction. In the culmination of Phase 7, the heroes will need to fix the Macron crystal to bring order to the universe and prevent yet another end of reality.
Here we go again.
Also, since it's the MCU where the heroes always need some big threat to punch, let's say that there's some evil alien threat that wants to use the power of the crystal. And let's just say it will be Annihilus. Anyways, the X-Men join the Avengers and the Fantastic Four and other heroes, and they all head out into space to stop Annihilus and fix the Macron crystal. This crossover is the first time the X-Men team up with other heroes, so there's going to be some tension between the teams.
Thor, take care of those gunships. Spider-Man, draw them towards the stern.
Sure thing.
Wolverine, you go.
Boy Scout. I don't take orders from you.
But even the combined teams of the Avengers, the X-Men, and the Fantastic Four are not enough to fix the Macron crystal. Salvation comes in the form of Jean Grey, who glows in the darkness of space, brighter than a star. She turns the odds, defeats the evil aliens, and puts her life at risk when fixing the Macron crystal. Jean just saved the universe single-handedly. Now, during the battle, the Phoenix Force senses Jean's power and potential, and the entity chooses her as its host. Phase 7 ends with the day saved and the universe hailing Jean as a hero. But the post-credits scene will show the tragic turn everything will take.
Things are about to get real dark real quick, Frank. It's nice to start off on a positive note.
With a vision of a dark future where the Dark Phoenix burns a whole galaxy or something. Personally, I would love to see a scene where we see a group of survivors being led by none other than Cable.
You time-sliding son of a bitch.
And then they will all meet Dr. Doom, who basically tells them, "I told you so, you fools. I warned you the Phoenix would destroy us all. Now I have to save the world by myself." And then he sends Cable back in time to kill Jean Grey. Now look, that might be a little too fanfiction-y, but hey, this whole video is basically one giant fanfiction, so let's just enjoy the ride. So this brings us to Phase 8, which will be the dark one, the one where everything goes wrong. This will be a whole phase dedicated to Jean being corrupted and eventually becoming the Dark Phoenix.
You either die a hero, or you live long enough to see yourself become the villain.
At first, Jean is hailed as a savior, but very quickly, prejudice against mutant kind kind of muddies the waters. From the moment the mutants are revealed to the world, human beings have a hard time accepting a whole other race. Mutants are different, and humans fear and hate them. It's the basis for almost every good X-Men story.
Oh, you're a mutant. The whole world out there is full of people that hate and fear you, and you're wasting your time trying to protect them?
Jean being the Phoenix's host creates an immediate escalation. The Phoenix Force changes everything. Its power defies all the rules. The more suspicious humans will obviously take actions to protect themselves. But some heroes won't be so cool about the Phoenix because they know how quickly such godly power can go so very wrong. So everyone is on edge, with the X-Men caught right in the center of all that hostility. And this is why Phase 8 needs to introduce Magneto and the Brotherhood of Mutants, as well as other mutant factions that became extremely hostile toward humans. Magneto will serve as an excuse for some humans to take actions against mutants, justification that Jean, who is a mutant, cannot be trusted with her godly power.
And I worry about how democracy survives when one man can move cities with his mind.
In the comics, Jean's transformation into the Dark Phoenix starts by her being tempted by Mastermind. She starts losing control, turns evil, and commits genocide. Phase 8 should follow a similar arc, since this is one of the best parts of the saga. Mr. Sinister is a good choice to be the Tempter figure. He will play on Jean's fears, convince her that humanity will exterminate mutant kind because of her power, so she must strike first. Sinister is a nigh-invincible mutant who is obsessed with genetics, specifically the genes of Scott Summers and Jean Grey. He even makes a clone of Jean Grey that can breed with Scott and make Cable, who is, as far as he's concerned, the perfect genetic mutant. And now that son is traveling from a dark future to kill his own mother to stop her from burning the universe.
It's rather poetic, in a maudlin sort of way.
Sinister is also connected to Apocalypse, so that could set things up for Apocalypse's arrival at a later stage. In fact, Sinister is planning to turn Jean to the dark side, so she will then serve Apocalypse as one of his horsemen.
Master, at long last we have the genetic material.
So Mr. Sinister works really well as the one who tempts Jean to become the Dark Phoenix. But I also got someone different for the Tempter role, and this one character works even better, and that is Dr. Doom. First of all, I really want to see X-Men versus Dr. Doom. Secondly, we need Victor Von Doom to play a big role in one of these sagas. And thirdly, if we go with Doom being the Tempter, Sinister should still play a big role. Now by this point, Dr. Doom has been established as a villain, but he's also earned the hero's respect. Everybody knows that he's the guy with the answers. He's 10 steps ahead of everyone else. So if there's anyone who can help Jean, it's him. Doom plants the seed in Jean's mind that her power makes her a god.
You really think fate turned us into gods so we could refuse these gifts?
This theme of people seeing themselves as gods is also going to come into play a little later. Doom sees that the Phoenix is making Jean unstable, and her mind will be crushed by the entity. Doom himself is tempted by this power, and he believes that he could handle the Phoenix and ultimately protect the universe from it. The X-Men end up having a small squabble with Doom, but he's not the type of villain who plays his hand right away. Doom starts playing humanity and mutants against each other. He plans to use the Avengers to go after Jean, and once the Phoenix will be unleashed, he can step right in and take her power. Now Cable will go back in time to kill Jean, and in the process, he reveals that the Dark Phoenix took over the universe in the future. Or maybe Jean starts having visions of the future, seeing herself turn evil. Jean will begin to unbalance from the destructive nature of the Phoenix. Jean is a good person, so she'll do all she can to prevent this dark future. But as we know, trying to prevent the future from happening often creates a far worse one. Jean knows that she must always be in control of her emotions, always be perfect. Because if she gets angry, she can accidentally wipe out the whole universe, while at the same time create or reshape all of reality. There is this heartbreaking inevitability to Jean's story. She's stuck in an endless war with the Phoenix. The entity wants to break free, to unleash her power.
It's hopeless! How can anyone live possessed by another being? Especially one with the power of the Phoenix.
Basically, Jean's path to the dark side should somewhat resemble Anakin becoming Darth Vader. Jean is the Anakin of the story, Doom or Sinister or Sidious, meaning that all the heroes are essentially Obi-Wan. And I guess it means that Cyclops is Padme?
Anakin, you're breaking my heart.
Jean wants to be good, but all of this pressure reveals to her that she has a dark side. And once she starts embracing the darkness, she realizes that she likes it. She feels so powerless and afraid, but now her godly power makes her feel safe and strong. The incident that throws Jean over the edge is Genosha. It's an apartheid state that enslaves mutants. And here, the MCU needs to really get dark. We need to see the horror of Genosha, the monstrous abuse of mutants. They weren't simply enslaved, they were imprisoned in cages like animals.
We must know who they are, and above all, we must know what they can do.
I've heard these arguments before.
The X-Men attack Genosha to free the mutants, but they get into a major battle with Sentinels and mutants that were brainwashed. The Avengers arrive on Genosha to de-escalate the situation, but tempers are running too hot and the Avengers and the X-Men get into a conflict. This incident just turns a switch in Jean's head. She sees the horror of Genosha. She sees her family under attack, her entire race facing extinction. And just like that, Jean gives in to the darkness and the Dark Phoenix is born.
I am fire made flesh. Power incarnate. I am the Dark Phoenix!
The Dark Phoenix unleashes its fury, decimating the evil men on Genosha. She destroys the Sentinels. She then attacks the Avengers, telling them that now she will give them a real reason to fear her. And in her fiery rage, the Dark Phoenix even attacks the X-Men. But luckily for everyone, the Phoenix wasn't yet at its full strength. After Jean fixed the Macron crystal in Phase 7, she exerted most of the Phoenix's force energy. So now Dark Phoenix shoots into space, searching for an energy source to recharge herself. And the only thing that can refuel the Dark Phoenix is a big and powerful star. But this causes the sun to go supernova, destroying a nearby planet, killing billions of lives. For the Dark Phoenix, all of those deaths mean nothing. To her, those people are like ants.
An ant has no quarrel with a boot.
But for Jean, this random genocide is how she regains control over her body and mind. This is proof that Jean is pure and good, and that is why she can break the Dark Phoenix's hold on her. Jean returns to Earth, seeking help from the X-Men. There's a part of Jean that wants the X-Men to kill her for her terrible crimes and save her from the Phoenix. But here's the thing, Jean's return brings a whole army of aliens to Earth. It's a galactic alliance led by the Shi'ar Empire. So after the Dark Phoenix destroyed that star, the Shi'ar attacked her for this. But their ships and weapons are like toy guns against the Dark Phoenix. So she just decimates their entire fleet. And the Shi'ar are now coming back with a vengeance. They assembled a giant galactic alliance for one intention only, to destroy the Dark Phoenix and its host. They give Earth an ultimatum, help them capture Jean or face a full-blown invasion. Now, witnessing the destructive nature of the Phoenix, the Avengers and the Fantastic Four understand that they must bring down the Dark Phoenix. Which brings us to the Avengers and the Fantastic Four versus the X-Men.
The war has begun.
Now, before this battle begins, we have to talk about one of the most important members of the X-Men.
Wolverine?
No, not Wolverine. Cyclops. In its core, the Dark Phoenix story is a powerful love story between Jean and Cyclops, and Scott needs to be the main focus of the Mutant Saga, as must Jean.
No, Wolverine.
Yes, of course, Wolverine too.
I know what you're thinking, punk.
Okay, I know this sounds like I'm a Wolverine hater, and I'm not. I really do love him. He's like one of the best comic book characters ever. But I just really want Marvel to give Scott more focus in the X-Men stories. Scott Summers can pretty much be whatever Steve Rogers was for the Infinity Saga. Cyclops is a fantastic character who was done so dirty by Fox 3 times.
It's me.
Prove it.
You're a dick.
Okay.
Look how they mess with my boy.
Scott is a natural-born leader who always seeks to do the right thing, whatever the cost. But he's also headstrong. He'll fight anyone who stands in his way, and he will do anything to protect those he loves.
Every now and then, Summers, I remember why you're still in charge.
Scott will have no choice but to take extreme actions to protect Jean, even if it means going to war with anyone who comes after her. For this conflict, I think that the Avengers and the Fantastic Four should be presented in a more antagonistic light. The superheroes see the X-Men as threats because they are protecting an entity that just wiped out an entire planet and could easily do the same to Earth. This hostility against mutants leads to Scott and the other mutants questioning Charles Xavier's dream for peaceful coexistence. The X-Men will have no choice but to ally themselves with mutants like Magneto, showing the dramatic escalation of this conflict. Battle lines will be drawn, sides will be chosen, and the war between the X-Men and the other heroes will begin. Now during the battle, Cyclops will get seriously hurt, and Jean will lose control and let the Dark Phoenix take over. This means that the heroes will be forced to put their differences aside and assemble against the corrupted Jean. It all ends with the Battle of the Minds between Charles Xavier and Dark Phoenix, but the entity is too much for the Professor and the Dark Phoenix kills Xavier.
How could you do this?
Xavier needs to die for this story to work. This is how Jean regains control over her mind and body. She's able to overpower the Dark Phoenix. The good in her, the love she has for Scott and her other X-Men, the guilt she feels for killing her mentor, all of this cleanses the darkness from the Phoenix Force. Now, as strange as it may sound, Xavier's death will eventually lead to Jean's redemption. Jean's sacrifice in the comics is one of the most powerful moments in the whole Dark Phoenix saga. As the Watcher says at the end of the story, Jean Grey could have lived to become a god, but it was more important to her that she die a human. But for our version of the story, we won't kill Jean. She needs to achieve her redemption in Phase 9, and I don't want to do another resurrection story. Besides, the MCU has developed this nasty trend of making characters evil with some artifact or mind control, which makes it way too easy to give them a redemption.
Forgiven, forgotten.
Not to mention that most villains in Phase 4 died after receiving a very unearned redemption by sacrificing themselves. The universe wants to kill her because of her power. Dr. Doom said this power makes her a god, but she doesn't see herself that way. The people Jean cares about, the ones who are willing to die for her, those people matter the most. She makes a choice, that it's her or none of them. She must pay. But dying isn't the punishment, it's a selfish escape. Because Jean will die, but the Phoenix will simply choose another host, and this cycle will start all over again. A true hero must carry this burden, so no one else will suffer because of her.
This is my gift. My curse.
Jean says her goodbye to the X-Men and then leaves. She shoots away from Earth, from the galaxy, even from the universe. She sacrifices her freedom, her love, and her future to save the universe and herself. And that is how Phase 8 ends. A heartbreaking ending where everyone loses. Phase 9 will be about the consequences. And here's why Apocalypse is the perfect villain for the culmination of this saga. In the aftermath of the Avengers vs. X-Men, mutants face the worst kind of persecution. The hate and fear for mutants is so hostile now that governments take extreme measures against mutants. Sentinels are mass-produced, segregation and persecution lead to a witch hunt. Governments start overseeing mutants. It all escalates to the point of violence and even extermination. And the heroes of the mutants, the X-Men, are gone. The X-Men are broken. They lost their mentor. The Professor is dead. And it seems that his dream for a peaceful coexistence died with him. Scott fails to be the leader the X-Men need. Jean's self-exile crushes him, leading him to a dark path. Storm and Wolverine try to take the reins, but the X-Men are too fractured. And that is when Apocalypse makes his triumphant return.
Hello, boys! I'm back!
For centuries, he was asleep, waiting for the most opportune time to make his mark, and this dark present is so perfect for him. Sabanur appears as a savior to mutant kind, the one that will make everything right, the powerful mutant that will lead them all to a better tomorrow. Apocalypse represents the complete opposite of Xavier's dream. He is humanity's fear of mutants come true, a mutant who seeks to wipe out everyone who isn't a mutant, anyone who isn't fit to survive. He is the Apocalypse.
It's the apocalypse.
end of days. The Judgment Day, the end of the world, my friend.
The best X-Men stories focus on the conflicts of ideologies and race. This conflict needs to be the center theme of the Mutant Saga. That question of Charles Xavier's dream is feasible. Or is it that Magneto is right and there cannot be peace between these two kinds? And with Apocalypse, you have another conflict. Are mutants superior to humans, and should mutants take over and become the dominant species on the planet? These questions need to be put to the test in the culmination of Phase 9. Same as the question that asks, could the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, and the X-Men overcome the events of Phase 8 and assemble? Should the X-Men even want to stop in Sabanur?
Those with the greatest power, this Earth will be yours.
Those with the greatest power, protect those without.
And here I want to adapt the most recent House of X story. Not House of M, though some elements from that could be adapted here as well. Here's my take on the story. Thousands of years ago, Sabanur ruled Egypt like a god. He was empowered by celestial technology, or maybe in the MCU, Apocalypse might have gotten his enchantments from Kang, who traveled to ancient Egypt. Or let's just follow the theme and say that it was the Phoenix. Whatever it is, that's how Apocalypse found Krakoa, an island that is more advanced than anything else on Earth, possessing all types of healing properties that include immortality, as well as some really advanced alien technology. Over thousands of years, Apocalypse influenced the world from the shadows, preparing for the day when the mutants will evolve to the point where they are the most superior species on the planet. He welcomes all mutants to Krakoa, where they can live freely like gods, saying that as long as humans don't mess with mutants and recognize Krakoa as a sovereign nation, everything's going to be okay. He even offers humanity some of the magical healing flowers from Krakoa so they can heal themselves from any disease and extend their lives.
Such a cool guy!
At first, the majority of mutants, including the X-Men, join Apocalypse. But then, Apocalypse's evil scheme is exposed. The Krakoan flowers he's giving out to humans are actually poisoned, meant to kill the majority of humans. Apocalypse doesn't care for a peaceful coexistence. He believes in the survival of the fittest. The humans who survive this calling will prove themselves to be strong enough to live in Apocalypse's world as a lower class. The strong mutants will live like gods. Any mutant who rebels against him will die. Also, we can bring Cable back from the future again, this time with Hope Summers. And he warns the Avengers about the dark age of Apocalypse. And here, the X-Men will return as heroes. Cyclops won't stand for genocide, no matter the hostility between mutants and humans. Scott will reassemble the X-Men and fight for a better tomorrow for both humans and mutants. And I want to see Scott step up, have his own ideology that opposes the one Apocalypse offers. It's not Xavier's dream, it's something different and new, something he truly believes in.
We're supposed to be heroes, not thugs.
If they're after us, then they're the enemy.
No, but they think we are. The last thing we need to do right now is prove them right.
He is a man who believes in what is right, and he will fight against evil, whatever form it takes. Here we can see the X-Men joining forces with other mutants as well as the other heroes as they all battle Apocalypse. Apocalypse is really powerful, so even the united front of all the heroes won't be enough, and that's when Jean will return and help save the day. She will bring the saga full circle as she redeems herself as the shining beacon of hope. Also, there needs to be a movie in Phase 9 that will show Jean's adventures after Phase 8. During that time, she learned to coexist with the Phoenix, and even how to cleanse the entity from its darkness. Personally, I would love to see Jean teaming up with Wanda, for obvious reasons. Also, I just realized that I kind of neglected Dr. Doom in this culmination, but he should definitely have a pretty significant role. All of this proves that mutants are so much more than just their dangerous abilities. They are all people, capable of good and evil. And in the end, it's about what each and every one of them does with their powers. And that is our story for the Mutant Saga. I would love to see Marvel do this kind of story, or you know what, do one that's even better. The X-Men are a goldmine of stories and characters. Just please do them justice and give us the Mutant Saga. But what do you think about all this? What characters and X-Men stories do you want to see in Phase 7, 8, 9, 10, and beyond? Let me know in the comments below, or you can @ me on Twitter. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe and smash that bell for alerts. For ScreenCrush, I'm Ryan Airy.